So right now, I'm gonna just record a video about, I have no idea what. I need to record, I'm trying to record and upload once a week, for now, at least. And normally when I start, before I start a video and I record, like I have an idea of what I want to say. And this time, got nothing. Let's see, what could I talk about? Like, I like to talk about different psychological concepts that have helped me to improve my life or improve my thinking. So that's been a big theme, I guess, that I've shared. I like to talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ a lot, and I like, that's what I build my life around. Like, usually throughout the week, there will be kind of like a theme that in my thinking that I just think, I'm like, yeah, I need to share this. This is really valuable. At least I feel like it's helpful to me, and so I want to share it. It's like a realization or something I've learned or something I've been studying. I could talk about humility. I've been studying humility a lot. A lot of times I want to wait till I have a really firm understanding of something. In fact, I recorded a video about humility a few days ago. I mentioned it in my last video that I thought it was terrible. I haven't even gone back and looked and watched it. But I think it's like really disjointed and it doesn't make sense from my memory. But maybe I'll need to go and see what I said. But I don't really have a total rock solid foundation for how I understand it now, or how to articulate that in a way that everyone will be able to understand. But I'll just kind of give it a shot, what I've been thinking and feeling. I always had the idea that humility was like basically putting yourself down, like thinking that you're nothing and worthless, and thinking you're less than everybody else. I think sometimes the scriptures might give us an impression that might be the idea. Basically, if we think about ourselves, then it's selfish and bad. Like, for whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it. Right? Like it's the idea that kind of like whatever we think, whatever we want, whatever we feel like we are bad and evil, and we need to totally sacrifice every single thing about ourselves in order to be humble. The idea is kind of shame-based, like that we are bad, like ourselves individually, like I am bad, and I need to work off of that premise. I'm bad, and so whatever I want is bad, or whatever I think is bad, and everyone else is better than me, and I need to not think about myself and only think about others, and I think it's really valuable and good to serve others. I think that's important, and but I think that we misunderstand humility. So there's this quote by there's a quote that's like misattributed to C.S. Lewis about humility that says humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. I think I've shared it before, but it's not C.S. Lewis. I can't remember who it is, but the reason that it's misattributed to him often is because he said something similar that I'm gonna butcher right now because I can't remember it, but I like it even more. It basically, the idea is that like if you see a truly humble man, he will not be this greasy, smarmy person who is of course always insisting that he's nothing. If he'll be like something like he'll be cheerful and happy and a good conversationalist, and if you do dislike him, it will be because you are jealous of somebody who's able to be so happy so easily. He says if he will not be thinking about humility, he will not be thinking about himself at all. And so the idea is, for me, the way I understand what humility now is that we don't think about ourselves, but not because we're bad, and not because we're trying to control ourselves, or that it's bad to think about ourselves. A truly humble person, in my opinion, doesn't think about themselves because they don't need to. They're filled with God's love. They're filled with a self-respect. They're filled with a gratitude for all of the goodness that God has given them, the abundance that He's given them. They are filled with appreciation for God because He loves them, and they know it and they feel it. They're not worried about themselves. They don't need to think about themselves. They're filled. And that's why they don't think about themselves. Not because they're bad and they're trying not to have human emotions or human experiences. So that's kind of the way that I think about humility now. It's not putting yourself down. It's not thinking less of yourself. It's allowing God to fill you, being willing to accept His abundance, being willing to accept your divine nature because you are a child of God, and He is great, and therefore you are great because He made you, right? So it's about how great He is, and because of how great He is, how that the value that gives us, how because He loves us so much, the value that gives us, because we exist, the value that we have. It's about being willing to accept that we have great value and worth and potential, and allowing that to fill us up, so that we don't really have to think about ourselves or worry about ourselves. I think a humble person is incredibly happy and joyful, and doesn't worry about not having enough or being enough, because they always feel like they're enough. So I don't know. Just a thought on it. Humility is not putting yourself down or thinking less of yourself. It's actually, in a way, thinking more of yourself, realizing your true identity and true potential, and being willing to act like it, being willing to act like a child of God, and being willing to treat yourself with respect and kindness, and everyone else as well. It's not putting yourself above anyone else, but it's not putting anyone else above you either. It's thinking about how great God is and being willing to accept His abundance and His love and His kindness, and being grateful for it, I think. So there's a thought.